What's up? I'm Rebecca. You're gonna disagree with at least one thing I say in this video. Let me get out of this. Get to this. Thank you so much for everyone who's helped me get to 200 subs over the past, I don't know, several years that I've been doing YouTube. I appreciate all the love I've gotten from the Christian community, and I really appreciate Vaush's offline chat specifically. Y'all came through. I was at 199, and in my defense, the conversation was very dead when I went in and self-promoed. Okay. But I went in there and I was like, guys, like, one more sub, and I hit 200. No pressure, but please go sub, because I just want to see 200. And then, it kind of bit me in the ass because I didn't even get to see the perfect even 200, because like 3 people subbed, and so when I went back to my page, it was like 202. So even better, but I didn't get that satisfying. I don't have a lot of access to social media because I've chosen that because I struggle with social media addiction. I do still have Discord, I still have YouTube, and that's it. I'm unvaccinated, and offline chat for Vaush.gg, strangely enough, is one of the only places that I really get a lot of socialization, even online. I've been very tempted to go out, to socialize, to do fun things. I'm one of the unvaccinated people who takes the pandemic seriously, is my point. I don't go out and party. It actually really pisses me off how many people I know who are vaccinated and going out and partying as if there isn't still a pandemic, as if they can't still catch it and spread it. Hi, it's me again. I'm editing the video I just filmed, and I just looked something up, and I really need to share this before we even get into the video. So sorry, there's going to be a minute delay. I'm going to cut out all the extra chit-chat that was going to come after this because this is more important, and I want to get to the video so you can watch the reaction. But look at this. Look at this. Oh, wait, you can't see because I didn't change. Hold on. Here we go. Okay. By the way, so this is US News. Here's how they rank, and I don't know how you pronounce this. Ad Fontes Media. I don't know. I like this site. You can check media bias. Middle, okay? Relatively trustworthy. It's not like some alt-right media source. Majority of unvaccinated Americans are concerned enough about COVID-19 to wear masks. I feel like SpongeBob in the SpongeBob musical. The majority of unvaccinated Americans are concerned enough about the coronavirus to wear masks regularly, a recent poll found, perhaps dispelling a common belief that those who choose to not get vaccinated remain largely unconcerned about contracting COVID-19. The survey was conducted between August 26th and September 27th after the CDC reversed its mask guidance, recommending that most people once again wear masks in indoor spaces. Majority of states didn't impose mask mandates because the majority of states suck, or at least their leadership sucks. I'll link this article in the description. I'm not going to go into it. This video is responding to Vaush and his weirdly genocidal Professor Flowers level take. I don't know. Go check that out. Just proves my point even more. I have been giving the benefit of the doubt that maybe I am in the minority, but now I realize, no, there's a reason that most of the people I know who are unvaccinated are sane and care about COVID and mask and stay at home and all that stuff. It's because that makes up the majority. So maybe don't call for the genocide of people who actually care about COVID and who wear masks and stuff and take it seriously. They just don't want to be scientific guinea pigs. All right, moving on. If you're one of these people who is in chat vibing in this clip, if you're Vaush watching this, I hope and pray that you're not a fucking idiot. Sorry. I also want to try not to be mean in this video. I hope that you're not ignorant enough that you will imply genocidal tendencies towards the unvaccinated while also perpetuating the pandemic yourself, potentially. So let's watch people call for my genocide. Potentially.
Noam Chomsky doubles down his previous call for the state to segregate the unvaccinated from society. How do we get there? Wait, are we about to get a based Chomsky take?
He's not being fully ironic. He's memeing, but it's a half meme. You know how the alt-right half memes about Jews? He's half memeing about the unvax right now. I just want to make it clear. I watch him a lot. He's not being completely ironic, like sarcastic right here.
A based Chomsky take? Holy shit.
No, it's not
About
going to be a
folks
based
having
Chomsky
the
take,
freedom
Vaush.
to, separate if they don't want to abide by these vaccine mandates. What would that look like on a practical level? Does that mean that folks need to just stay home and have like groceries delivered to them? Does it mean like separated?
I do just want to say, if there was a government system to deliver groceries, I would feel so blessed and grateful, and I feel like that would be a really awesome way to incentivize the unvaccinated to take the pandemic seriously and stay home. Because it is an issue, because a lot of the unvaccinated are fucking stupid. And so I'll admit, like, they are doing very dangerous things, going out without a mask. Like, I completely agree. I don't argue against that. Just to clarify, I think that's a really great idea from this guy.
Communities of folks who are unvaccinated, or just, how do you think this would practically play out?
Same way as with people who say that I don't want to accept traffic rules. I suppose there were people who said it's an attack on my liberty to make me stop at a red light. It's government overreach. I don't want the state to have that power over my private life. Well, such people they should have the decency to remove themselves from the community.
True. If you're watching this and you're a fellow Christian, or I guess I shouldn't say a fellow Christian, but in my experience, it's more the Christians that I know that are less likely to get vaccinated. Just being honest. Whether it's the fetal cell thing or whether it's the way political conservatism has co-opted and corrupted evangelical Christianity, a lot of Christians kind of correlates with not getting vaccinated. So just if you're watching this and you're a fellow Christian, you're unvaccinated, stay your ass at home, please. Sorry, try not to be mean. Please stay at home. I love you.
If they refuse to do that, then measures have to be taken to safeguard the community from them. Then comes the practical question.
Okay, so what does that mean? Like,
safeguard the community from them. Then measures have to be taken to safeguard the community from them.
Okay. This whole video gives me Professor Flower vibes. If you are a fellow Vaushite, you probably know what I'm talking about. You know about that whole drama where she was like saying that she didn't support genocide, but she was like, I don't support genocide, I just support ethnostates as long as the people creating them were oppressed first. That's basically the summary of what she was saying, and it was just really weird because it's like, you can't really separate ethnostates from genocide. It's kind of like what happens when you enforce an ethnostate is genocide happens, and like people who advocate for things like that are always kind of vague, like, well, you gotta do something. Like, do what, bitch? Do what? Like, so I don't know, this sits a little bit sussy baka.
Then comes the practical question that you ask, how can we get food to them? Well, that's actually their problem.
Rude. Okay, so he basically said, some vague, mysterious, unnamed actions must take place in order to protect the vaccinated from the 80 million unvaccinated in America. Not to mention all the other countries, but I'm in America, talking about America. So we're gonna take some mysterious action against these 80 million Americans, and oh, what about feeding them? Not our problem. So it's not that he's advocating for genocide, it's that he's advocating for mysterious action and starvation to take place against the unvaccinated. There are arguments to be made that I shouldn't be using the word genocide. We'll get to that, but first, let's move on.
What a based fucking answer, dude. Oh god, what an unbelievably Herculean Chad answer. Isn't this like really off? Nah, we already locked people.
Who said that? DNAT, I fucking love you. Next time you need a sub, I'll buy you one.
Ian, Chad, answer. Isn't this like really off? Nah, we already locked people up for murdering.
We already lock people up for murdering. Who's talking about arresting people? Vaush just instantly jumps to like, yeah, let's arrest the unvaccinated because they're practically murderers? Have I murdered somebody by staying home and masking and socially distancing? Like, don't get me wrong, I know not all the vaccinated do that, but I'm far from the only one fucking doing that, alright? Like, my partner and his entire family do that. So, like, there are entire families out there of unvaccinated people who are still in pandemic mode, who are deeply impoverished thanks to job discrimination on the rise against the unvaccinated. So, like, being a little too vague. There's too many different types of people under this unvaccinated umbrella, I think, to just be like, yeah, let's kick them out and starve them and throw them in jail, you know?
You're with the state the world is in right now, you're lucky we're not arresting people for not getting vaccinated, okay?
You're
Yeah,
lucky?
that sounds like a them problem thing.
That sounds like a them problem thing. Isn't that heartless? How do you say that about 80 million people, especially when so many of them have been, like, seduced into a cult because of their own horrible lives under this oppressive system? It makes them vulnerable to cults. Like, anyone can end up in a cult, bro. Just because you didn't end up in the QAnon cult, Ian, doesn't mean, like, you're better than everyone who did. Like, don't get me wrong, they're very annoying and they're very frustrating, and it's a serious issue, this QAnon cult. Like, it needs to be addressed. But, like, by genocide? I just think there might be more ethical ways to handle it.
Listen, it's a global pandemic. People need to get vaccinated to stop the global pandemic. As long as they keep not getting vaccinated, thousands of people are going to die.
This also bothers me. There are so many things that could have been done. Like, the government could have actually done a lockdown and could have actually given people enough money to survive during that lockdown and could have nationally legally enforced that lockdown for like a month, and we probably wouldn't even be in this situation. But then they would have lost some money. Oh, their poor money for a whole month. The economy would have recovered. It's not like it would have been the end of the USD, okay? Like, people were acting like we couldn't because it would just collapse the world's biggest and richest superpower a month of taking a break from consumerism. Oh heavens, God forbid. Also, the government didn't do that, right? What they did is they forced everyone to keep working, minimum wage, life-risking jobs like, I don't know, grocery store clerk, hotel front desk, like I was doing, just customer service, like all this stuff. Like, people were forced to go back to work just to keep working at risk of losing their jobs, despite the fact that it wasn't safe to do it, despite the fact that it put them at a way higher risk of getting COVID by coming into contact with all those people, and all they had was masks. All they had was fucking masks and, like, maybe some social distancing. And then later, like, okay, once we realized this wasn't going to go away right away, then people were, like, putting up, like, shields and stuff at the grocery store. Like, I'm someone whose whole career has mostly been customer service. And so I really felt betrayed by how badly we were treated in the pandemic. And then now I'm being cast out in a different way, because now it's like, oh, well, now you have to fix everything. Now you have to take this experimental mRNA vaccine that hasn't even been fully tested, because frankly, it just hasn't been around long enough to be fully peer-reviewed and to have the evidence to determine comparative safety when compared to live vaccines. Like, I'm not saying the COVID vaccines aren't effective or that they're just completely unsafe, but what I'm saying is, like, they are experimental, and it's naive to think that, like, oh, the science is shut. Like, people say that shit, and I'm like, you just haven't researched it. You just believed what, like, you read in an article, and you were like, okay, cool. Like, you didn't actually look at the studies yourself. You didn't look into the science of it yourself, clearly, because you're talking out your ass. No actual COVID scientist, like, would say that. I'm rambling. Let's just stop. Let's move on.
All right, that's all we got. Sorry. But it's the state's problem to feed people in jail. Can you imagine a world where all the unvaccinated have been, like, exiled to Cuck Island, you know? And they're not getting any food, so they're actually committing crimes on Cuck Island in order to get arrested so that they can be sent to prison where they're at least guaranteed 3 meals a day. What a Chad fucking response.
What? Can you imagine if we threw people that ideologically disagreed with me all onto an island and they started tearing each other apart and committing crimes so that they could go to prison because prison would be better than Cuck Island? It's fucking dumb as shit. Sorry, I'm trying not to be mean. Sorry. It's very stupid. Is that nicer? I guess there's no cuss word.
I get, every time we have one of these big issues, I get more off-pill, dude. Holy shit. I do maintain, I don't think it's fundamentally authoritarian, because I genuinely believe that if you remain unvaccinated without a really good medical reason, you're breaking the social contract and you're violating the freedoms of other people.
No, I'm not. The problem is that everyone is assuming that unvaccinated means anti-vax, anti-mask, running around spitting in each other's mouths, like a lot of the vaccinated are doing. Which I guess they're a little safer to suck each other's tongues than the unvaccinated, but, like, point is, those don't inherently go together. Every fucking unvaccinated religious person is not just running around, like, spitting and on everything and licking everything and spreading viruses everywhere. Like, people, I get that sometimes it's a meme, but it does get really annoying when people are like, oh my gosh, they're fucking bug infested bodies, virus infested fucking illness producers. Like, I don't know, people just say the weirdest shit, and I'm literally just, like, sitting at home desperately trying to get a COVID safe job, but the market is oversaturated, like, still lonely because, unlike most of your impatient asses, I stay at home. I stay my ass at home and I take the pandemic seriously. What do you mean? Like, what is he
Believe
fucking
that if you
talking
remain
about?
unvaccinated without a really good medical reason, you're breaking the social contract and you're violating the freedoms of other people.
No, I'm not. I actively take other people's freedoms and safety into account, into my behavior, at my own expense. You're welcome, dick. Sorry, you're welcome, mean person. I'm getting really frustrated.
I do believe that, yeah.
Oh, I do believe it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It's yeah.
Bro, I'm such a big fan of Vaush. I want to make it clear, I am a Vaushite, okay? Like, I miss my piss name, but I had to start being more responsible with my money. But I like Vaush. I like a lot of what he does. He's very entertaining. This is I don't think he's had a take this stupid since he tried to argue for abortion, like for pro-choice, by dehumanizing a human fetus. Like, I think this is even worse than that, honestly.
Weren't you against the minimum wage being linked to vaccination? You mean, like, no, it was unemployment benefits. I think that I want an expansion. I think that under current systems of unemployment benefits, if you get laid off because you haven't get vaccinated, you're not entitled to them. But I do want better unemployment benefits, like, generally, so.
I mean, you're getting what you want. I don't qualify for unemployment, and I'm impoverished, and I'm desperate, and at this point, I feel like there's no room for me in society. I mean, honestly, this shit kind of hurts. Like, because I don't even know if I'd say I'm fully friends, but I look in here like Rave Dubin, Thana. I have a weird skill at pissing off Thana in offline chat, actually. It's kind of a talent. I don't mean to. I just see people in here that I've, like, been friendly with. Dude, Pope J. Francis? Pope J. Francis? And I thought we were cool. See, like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, I see people that I'm, like, friends with in this chat just being like, yeah, fuck them. And I'm just like, wow, thanks, guys. Like, not like I thought me and these online people whose real names I don't even know, like, it's not like I thought we were best friends. It's not like I would take a bullet for them or them for me, but just, like, I thought people were a little more accepting, I guess, than this is suggesting. It hurts because, like, I really just, at this point, feel like there isn't room for me in society, and I'm just planning to, like, drop off the map and, like, drop out and just, like, go live in a fucking hut, dude, because it's clear that I'm not welcome here, you know?
So,
Not just in Vaush's community, I mean in society, just to be clear.
yeah, anyway. It's oh wait, I didn't even see this, dude. Holy shit. This came from Max Blumenthal, the Gray Zone cucks. Okay, yeah, they're not gonna like this. All of the Jimmy Dore sphere of the internet, they're all like anti-vax. Because it's like the easiest way to like culture war virtue signal while appealing to right-wingers without actually outwardly adopting any explicitly right-leaning talking point.
True. Not getting the COVID vaccine doesn't make you anti-vax. Like, it pisses me off so much how a bunch of people who don't even know about the anti-vax community are just calling people who don't get the COVID vaccine anti-vax. It's actually really ignorant and shows how little they know about the community. Now, as an ex-alt-writer, an ex-witch, okay, spent a lot of time in conspiracy and New Age communities, hippy-dippy communities, and I can tell you that anti-vaxxers don't believe in vaccines. Anti-vaxxers are anti-vaccines. S. Plural. Plural. So, if you don't want one specific type of vaccine, or maybe a few because they have the same concerning similarities, but you're cool with vaccines, you're not anti-vax. Just like I wouldn't give myself or my future children a vaccine with thimerosal in it, which is a type of mercury. That doesn't mean I wouldn't give them a version of that vaccine without mercury. Like, I feel like it's really simple, and if you literally just Googled what the anti-vax community is, like, up to for the past decade, I feel like you would be able to see, it's a lot of people, for a lot of people, like a lot of people, more than I even thought, it's about the COVID vaccine, not vaccines. So stop talking about things you don't know what you're talking about. You know what I mean?
Points. What about the kids of anti-vax parents? Should they be separated too?
Yeah, good fucking
you're
question.
You're asking the hard truths. I mean, I guess if they got separated, then it would be up to the state to take care of those kids, right?
This actually makes me want to cry. I missed this when I first watched this. This is my second time going through this. Let's just listen to the cold and emotionless tone that he says that with.
Should they be separated too? I mean, you're asking the hard truths. I mean, I guess if they got separated, then it would be up to the state to take care of those kids, right?
I had multiple friends who grew up in the system. In CPS, in homes. One of them was, I'm not even going to go into detail, was abused in every way that you could be abused, physically, emotionally, and sexually. In different homes, mind you. The other one's now dead. So, I think it's really heartless and callous, actually, that he would just say this so fucking casually, and maybe he just means it because he's not putting much thought into it. He's saying things like he didn't think about them before saying them, because anyone who can casually say, yeah, we should separate families and put the kids in CPS is either heartless or has no clue what they're fucking saying. kids who end up in the system have some of the worst childhoods. Like, I have a bad childhood. Okay, I have a lot of traumas. I can only imagine how much worse they would have been if I'd ended up in the care of the fucking government. He's like, yeah, let's just send all the children of anti-vax parents who are innocent victims in all of this, let's just send them to go get beaten and molested till they're free at 18 unless they die first. What a disgusting, immoral, thoughtless thing to say. I'm actually repulsed. I can't believe I didn't catch that the first time. I'm disgusted beyond fucking words. It's fucking heartless.
In reality, this is not going to happen. But, like, in terms of, like, severe crackdowns on the unvaccinated, Look, I mean, do you want the pandemic to last forever? Like, that's an honest question. Like, that can happen. You realize that, right? It's not impossible that the pandemic could last forever. That's not an impossible thing. That's entirely 100% a thing that could absolutely happen. How long did the bubonic plague last?
That's true. So why are we wasting time talking about how based it would be to low-key genocide the unvaccinated when we could be talking about actual solutions? And he said realistically, this is never going to happen. I mean, really? Because here's something that's really fucking fascinating. Hold on, let me pull this bullshit up. If you wanna read this, here's the link right here. I mean, I can also just like link it in the description. Here. Okay. So, the Department of Labor's Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA, is developing a rule that will require all employers with 100 or more employees to ensure their workforce is fully vaccinated, or require any workers who remain unvaccinated to produce a negative test result on at least a weekly basis before coming to work. OSHA will issue an emergency temporary standard to implement this requirement. It'll impact over 80 million workers in private sector businesses with 100 plus employees. Combined with this, it bothered me. To continue efforts to ensure that no worker loses $1 of pay because they get vaccinated, OSHA is developing a rule that will require employers to provide with more than 100 employees to provide PTO for the time it takes for workers to get vaccinated. You're either going to have to get vaccinated, which is 1 or 2 shots. If it's 2, it's like a month apart, and then that's it. Or you have to every week go get a failed COVID test. Like, go get a test and fail it for COVID. PTO for getting vaccinated, no PTO for every week going to get tested. That's pretty unfair, I would say. And I think it's really fucking stupid, too, because, frankly, I think a lot more people would be willing to do that if they got PTO for that. But no, there's clearly discriminatory behavior going on in that already we're starting to see the tides turn towards the unvaccinated being second-class citizens. For him to say, like, oh, realistically, this isn't going to happen, except his arguments that he's making and chat all agreeing with him and, you know, ideological leaders like Noam Chomsky saying, yeah, we should just go to segregation, except it's ideological instead of racial. Like, it really bothers me because, like, I think it's more possible and already taking place more than he might realize, Vaush. I'm sure he'd be cool with it if he knew about it. Clearly he has no issue discriminating against or oppressing the unvaccinated, but, you know, I don't even know if he realizes that this sort of, like, path of subjugation is already being paved.
It, like, came back and returned stuff, but it was hundreds of years. And that was in a time with no global travel, and it was much more deadly than COVID is, which means that there's less time
He's talking about the bubonic plague.
It's more likely to kill, more symptoms that allow you to separate. It's very easy. It could very, very well be the case that COVID is just going to keep happening over and over and over forever. And eventually people will treat it, you know, like the way they treat the flu, basically. Except the flu is seasonal, nowhere near as deadly, and has a much lower rate of infection. And COVID, well, is worse in all those categories. But yeah, it could just be like a permanent thing, you know, just forever. Yeah. Of course, it doesn't have to remain a permanent thing. We could fix it. And the first.
And it's everyone's personal responsibility to be a scientific guinea pig. Think of the children. Think of the children. It's so annoying.
First step to doing that, by the way, Human Rights Crimes Tribunal for all the large media and political figures who have engaged in COVID and vaccine denialism.
I mean, I think that's honestly fair, because there's a lot of really dumb, crazy conspiracy theories that are perpetuating a lot of dangerous behavior done by the anti-maskers and anti-vaxxers, so I'm fine with charges being pressed against people who are spreading lies. The issue is, though, is, like, how do you determine that? Like, I guess my only concern would be, are people who simply said, you know, I don't like that it's tested using fetal cell lines, and I think religious people or people with moral issues against that should be allowed to make the choice for themselves. Are they gonna be arrested for COVID denialism? I don't know. Is criticism going to be considered denialism in that type of scenario? I would hope not, because I actually think it would be a great idea for people to be held legally accountable for saying crazy shit like, I don't know, like COVID isn't real, or like the vaccines don't work. Like, complain about how, you know, efficacious, I guess the word would be, or not, that they are. Like, feel free to, like, debate about it, like, amongst yourselves or something, but, like, as far as, like, publicly putting it out there that it just doesn't work, that's literally just scientifically not true. So I agree that some charges should be pressed. I think it's a big issue, and it's part of the reason that a growing animosity, it's part of the reason there's a growing animosity towards the unvaccinated, because they're all being stereotyped as this, when a lot of us aren't like that at all.
Absolutely. Right out the bat. Absolutely. Get them up there.
I'll dab to that. I'll dab to that. Okay, all right, fine. First not stupid thing he said in this video.
I want the judge to be wearing one of those black cowls, you know, with like a big double-sided axe while reading out like statutes and shit.
Stupid.
Let him up there. It is hilarious, though, all the people who are feigning like outrage at the pharmaceutical billionaires making money off COVID when they don't give a fuck. You know?
I'm not feigning outrage. I genuinely give a fuck, and I don't like it. And the billions of dollars that they make every time someone takes... Okay, they don't make billions every time someone takes one vaccine, but what I mean is the billions that they've been making from people taking and then taking boosters, you know. I don't trust them because they have financial incentive for this vaccine to succeed no matter what.
You know? Like, all these people, these conservatives, they're like, this is all a grift. The pharmaceutical CEOs have made billionaires. Oh, so you want to, like, regulate and tax them? Oh, no.
Okay, I'm a leftist. Yes. Like, again, the stereotyping, like, just assuming that everyone who doesn't get the vaccine is just a QAnoner. Like, the stereotyping is so annoying. It makes him just come across just dumb at from how ignorant he's speaking. You know what I mean? That was a very badly formed sentence. Whatever.
No, I just want to complain about them because they're tangential to another culture war issue.
No, let's tax them and regulate them more. I mean, honestly... He's just stereotyping everyone and then saying, yeah, let's all throw them on an island or throw them into prison. Like, that's just so ignorant.
Issue I pretend to care about. They don't actually fucking care. They don't fucking care.
They don't fucking care. Yeah, I do care. I do care, actually. So, like, shut up. I'm honestly just kind of speechless at this point. Like, I'm just so disappointed, especially in that thing I caught about him saying, oh, I guess we'll just have to separate families and kids could just go get raped and murdered in CPS's care. Like, disgusting, ignorant. I think this might be the worst take that I've ever heard come out of Vaush's mouth. I'm just really sick of being stereotyped. I'm sick of being told that my life doesn't matter and that I don't care about other people's lives. I'm sick of being told what I'm doing and how I'm bad for doing those things that I'm actually not doing at all. Now, someone commented in response to one of my comments on that video, and I was also talking to an internet friend that I met through VGG. Shout out to Ketchup, I freaking love you. Both of them kind of said, well, I don't know if I would consider that a genocide. Like, I agree it's sus, I agree it's a messy take, but like, I don't know if I would call that genocide. I guess it could depend from person to person technically, because genocide is like the extermination of a racial, religious, political, cultural group. A lot of people don't get the COVID vaccine for religious reasons. A lot of people don't get the vaccine for political reasons. I don't know if you can separate those reasons from the act of not getting the vaccine. The person who responded to my comment was like, I don't know if I would like call it genocide, like, because, you know, being unvaccinated isn't like a racial or religious category, but like, isn't it? Aren't a ton of people not getting vaccinated for religious reasons? Aren't a ton of people not getting vaccinated for moral, ethical reasons, like whether it's related to the fetal cell lines used in production and testing, whether it's related to having a moral concern with DNA synthesizing as a whole, which I also have an issue with as a religious person. And for people who say I shouldn't be using the word genocide, I think that's really ignorant. Under Trump, especially the past year of his presidency, it was pretty scary as a Jewish person, and for me and my family's sake, we had escape plans due to poverty because of COVID, but also due to, you know, the rise in anti-Semitism and violent extremist, like authoritarian conservative terrorist groups. We had a plan for our family just in case shit hit the fan and they started rounding up Jews again. We had a plan. My dad is vaccinated, who I live with, so I wouldn't consider it mine and his plan this time, more mine and my partner's plan. But it's basically the same plan, and I feel actually even more afraid than when it was under Trump, because I never really saw the signs until January 6th, that like they were really looking to round people up and kill them. I'm actually surprised how unabashed people are on the left to just be like, yeah, let's just fucking kick them out and let them starve outside society. Who fucking cares what happens to them? Just get them out of here and don't help them at all. Like, very unchristian values, which, you know, honestly, it's political conservatism has really tried to steal Christianity, so unfortunately, like, that's just kind of how it goes on the left these days, because people think to be a leftist, you have to not be Christian for some reason. Even though some of the biggest activists and leaders of the civil rights movement in the 60s were Christians, and, like, literally, like, reverends and pastors. What is wrong with people? Why do people forget that? Anyways. It feels the same to me. I'm still terrified for my life. I'm still having to plan an escape just in case shit hits the fan and the unvaxxed start getting rounded up. I get that it's a choice. It doesn't feel like a choice to me. It feels like suddenly I'm being told, oh, well, you're putting everyone at risk and you just run around spitting in little kids' mouths, giving them COVID, when I'm safer than most vaccinated people because everyone's just so desperate to get back to normal. And I'm supposed to just accept becoming like a second-class citizen? What? Because I didn't get the vax? I still do everything to stay safe. I still am very careful. I'm actually more scared now than I was under the Trump presidency, because I'm already feeling the effects of it. I'm already really struggling to get a job. You know, I would love to get a COVID safe job. There aren't enough jobs to meet the demand for COVID safe jobs. But then I'm a piece of shit if I go to work, right? And frankly, regardless of that, I don't want to go to work in like customer service, risking my life and others' lives for minimum wage. Like, I just don't, even slightly above minimum wage. Like, if I can't pay to keep a roof over my head and save some, I'm not risking my life for a job like that. But no one's willing to pay essential workers what they're worth. And that's what my entire resume is customer service, what is now the most dangerous work. I'm already feeling the social isolation and the discrimination against unvaccinated people. There were 2 jobs I could have gotten. One of them was incredibly dangerous. The other one better, but they're looking into requiring vaccination, so I didn't hear back from them, and no one else ever hit me back up. And I'm normally really good at getting jobs. It's normally not that hard for me. The market is oversaturated. And then on the flip side, there's all these non-safe jobs that I don't want to take because A, I'd be risking my safety, and B, I'd be risking other safety. It hurts also thinking about how Vaush was like, oh, well, realistically, this isn't going to happen. It's like, it's already happening, dude. The discrimination's already taking place. People are already being heavily socially pressured to get vaccinated. Masking and socially distancing is being undervalued and minimized when it used to be what you're supposed to do, and actually it should be what vaccinated people are still doing in a lot of circumstances, but they don't, because they're assholes who just think they're better than other people. Not all vaccinated people. I'm just really starting to feel like there's no room for me in this society. I don't feel welcome here. I don't feel wanted or valued. I feel like I have no community. I don't feel like I'm in community with Christianity, which frankly, first and foremost, is who I should be in community with, but so many Christians are just brainwashed by politics, and it taints their relationship with God and other Christians, and I can't be in fellowship with, like, fucking QAnoners. Sorry, I'm not in religious fellowship with QAnoners, and there's so many of them these days, and then I can't find fellowship in leftism, because I'm constantly being shat on and my literal life is being devalued. I can't even find fellowship within my family because I have a broken family, and a lot of my younger family members really stopped talking to me once I came out as Christian. Even though I still advocate for equal rights for everyone and I still treat people the same, it just feels like wherever I go, I'm unwanted. And honestly, at this point, I'm just preparing to be gone. Not kill myself, don't think it's suicidal. I'm just preparing to leave society and stop being a burden on everybody so I can just go exist and live my life, and no one has to genocide me to get it. So, I don't know. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and if you agree with me that this is Vaush's dumbest take, send this to him so he can check it out. I don't want him to react to it on his thing. I mean, he can if he wants to, but I'm not trying to get clout. I'm not trying to get famous. I actually don't want to be famous. I do YouTube as a hobby, but I would love for him to just hear a reasonable, unvaccinated leftist's perspective. Maybe it wouldn't matter to him, but I think words hurt, and his words definitely hurt me. So I'm gonna go and cry and just talk to my therapist about this tomorrow in therapy. So yeah, God bless you, and I hope you stay safe in this horrible pandemic, and I hope you find fellowship in these really lonely times. And yeah, have a great day.